Okay, we are now live. I'm gonna wait for at least 5 to 7 minutes for people to kind of get their news on their email that I'm live and through Instagram and Discord. Hey, welcome, welcome. Glad to see you here. Okay. I hope everyone's day has been really, really good so far. Had a pretty crazy day in the markets overall. We pushed to all-time highs, mostly thanks to Tesla going absolutely bonkers. And Tesla has now joined Apple and Microsoft with a $1 trillion market cap. So let's see if Tesla's able to actually stay in that $1 trillion club with Apple and Microsoft. But Tesla truly has been gaining a lot of traction as more and more people are buying electric cars, especially Tesla, since oil prices and gas prices have been skyrocketing. So I think people are finally realizing that it's better to just spend some good money up front on electric cars rather than spending a lot of money every single week or every 2 weeks or every month on a lot of gas. And that's kind of like it's very astounding to me to see that people are finally kind of getting used to seeing electric cars on the road when people couldn't even fathom seeing electric cars, or they thought that it would be impractical for use a few decades ago. It was like 2 to 3 decades ago. So it's amazing to see that we're transitioning to more electric cars and more green forms of transportation. Okay, let's wait 2 more minutes here now. I guess while I'm waiting, I can kind of briefly go over SPY. So SPY is has been on a tear. I have a profit target around 457.50 to 460. That's a really good range there for SPY if you get up there for some actual pullback. I think it's gonna be a nice run so far for this entire week. Maybe into the next few days, maybe even all the way into Friday, where we can actually see SPY go all the way up to 460, which would be my maximum price level target there. But in the next, maybe even tomorrow or next few days, we might see SPY go all the way up to 457.50. Hey Joe, how are you? How are you? I just started to talk about the overall markets here. Okay. So with SPY, I think we're not exactly overbought yet, but we're really nearing that really overbought area. There you go. So we're not really much overbought, but we are about to be a bit too extended. The R side just confirmed what I just said. Now, on the intraday time frames, we are needing a pullback. We're overbought on the intraday time frames, like the hourly time frames here. And obviously, you don't need to look at the RSI if you're used to how the price action looks and how it moves, which I always highly encourage you guys to really study the price action. And I've written a blog on this last week, about studying price action and why it's so important. So if you guys want to read that, just go to my website and scroll all the way down to my blog, or just click on the tab for blogs. But it seems like, with SPY just absolutely rocketing like this, I think there's a high chance that we have a nice strong pullback once we have hit this maximum price target of 460, or maybe even 457.50, like I was talking about before. But for the people who are joining now, I did say that I have a nice good range between 457.50 to 460 as my price target levels for SPY. So I hope that you guys are watching out for those levels, because if we hit the maximum of 460, we should be able to see a very strong big pullback down to around 450 again, or even more. And that should warrant enough of a pullback to continue to go up higher into the end of the year, because I truly think and believe that we can continue to go up higher into the end of the year, until, again, that default situation with Congress and the Fed comes back again, since they only delayed the imminent default situation until December 3rd, if I remember correctly. So I truly believe that we can head back up and continue to go up into the end of the year until that news comes out again, and that makes headlines once again. But it seems like people have completely forgot about the bad inflation numbers, bad economic numbers, and this default situation and debt ceiling situation. So, once those headlines come back near the end of the year, this uptrend might just stop and quickly stop to a halt, and then we might see some actual consolidation that we need as we go into 2022. All right, so that's kind of my broad general plan for the market. But yeah, welcome everyone to the people who are just coming in. Hey, Kevin, nice to see you back here. Nice to see your face back. FANG. Okay, so that's great. I just finished with the market. Let's look at FANG. So let's make this one screen. Yeah, so I remember FANG. When you asked me about it, I think I charted it right here, right? And FANG has been an absolute run. I mean, this is incredible. If you caught this, Kevin, if people swung this name, as oil keeps on getting expensive, and gas prices, natural gas prices, and etc. This name is just going to continue to do well. But so far, FANG has been a really profiting off of these crazy high gas prices and oil and barrel prices and etc. And I think this name's going to continue to profit off of this high price. Now, FANG looks very good so far. We're making a nice flag. So what the price is doing here now, after a nice impulsive breakout and run up into new all-time highs, Kevin, what we're seeing is a nice kind of a consolidation phase forming on the 10 SMA. And here are two things that can happen whenever I've seen this type of price action on the 10 SMA. We can continue to go sideways until we've allowed this 21 SMA to catch up, or we will have a nice big flush down and retest the 21 SMA and then bounce up. All right. However, what's the difference between those two situations, right? One where we're letting the 21 SMA catch up, or when the price comes back down and touches the 21 SMA to retest it. So number one, when we are consolidating like this and allowing the 21 SMA to catch up, that usually ends up being a less of a bullish price action compared to the second situation. And in the second situation, where we come back down, where the price pulls back down and retests the 21 SMA, that happens to have more of a bigger bounce. Why? Because there's a lot more momentum, there's a lot more volume going into the name. It doesn't matter if it's selling or buying, but when the price is going lower and hitting and itself retesting the 21 SMA instead of waiting for these momentum indicators or SMAs here, simple moving averages, to catch up, we're allowing more volume to come in. And if there's enough buyers coming in, the momentum will switch from sellers to buyers very, very quickly, right? And if we have that quick momentum shift, we can have a lot more of a volatile bounce up. And that's the reason why the second situation is a little bit more probable and more ideal for us to head up higher. Now, FANG is coming off of an overbought area. I just brought up the RSI so that you guys can see and be certain that I am telling you guys it is overbought, since, like I said before, I do not need the RSI anymore. But some people do not trust me when I say it's overbought or oversold until they actually pull out the RSI and they're like, wow, how did you know? But it all requires experience and literally knowing how the price is moving and reacting. So, I don't really need the RSI, but obviously it's always good to see confirmation, especially for you guys when I'm doing this live. But yeah, so we are basically coming back down on the RSI. So we kind of have a divergence here. It's RSI divergence. I'm not going to go too much into detail. Okay, we have a divergence while we're making kind of a flat top here. Okay, so we can continue to flag. All right, so this is something that I highly recommend that you guys continue to look out for. Sorry guys, but FANG here, it's something that you guys should always be watching out for any type of gas or oil news. It's one of those major names that you guys should be watching out for. Diamondback Energy. So make sure you guys are watching out for that. Okay, for this name. But so far, FANG, I would say, Kevin, wait. Just continue to look out for a breakout above $112. And if we can hold this ascending trend line of support, if not, then most likely the price is going to retest the 21 SMA first instead of allowing the 21 SMA to catch up. Okay. All right. Joel, your next name here is Delta. DAL. So airlines have been getting a beating ever since the airlines have been saying that we might be seeing some actual impact from the Delta variant of COVID. And a lot of people weren't expecting that, and I don't think Wall Street liked that idea or that thought that these airlines were just about to be profitable or at the very least optimistic going into the third quarter, or at the very least the second quarter. But when the news hit that they might be in it for another loss again, the whole airlines industry, Wall Street was completely flabbergasted about that idea, and we saw a huge sell-off happening. And even with somewhat of good earnings here for Dell, Wall Street still didn't like how these airlines have guided for the near-term quarters here in the future, that they won't be in profits just yet, even if people are getting vaccinated. Like hundreds of millions of people are getting vaccinated around the world. So I think once just maybe the holiday travel kind of picks back up, we should see Delta and all the rest of the major airlines like UAL, Love, Southwest, and AAL, American Airlines, kind of retest their recent highs back in March to around June. Okay, so back to DAL, we have a huge level of support around 38.80-ish, and then another huge level of support around, I would say the range around 37 to 37.55-ish. And this area right here, okay, this is a good area right here to be looking at, okay, right here. This is a great area to be looking out for, since if we break and breach to the downside, this 38.80-ish level here, we can most likely see some buying coming in again around 37 to 37.55-ish level. And oh, I'm glad that everyone's coming in now. This is great. So it seems like I was right about starting around 7:30 now, changing the time, since people tend to join in the lives a little late whenever I started around 7 p.m. So I'm glad that people are joining in a lot now around 7:30. Okay, so Dal, I would say in order for you to see some type of reversal, we would need to be a bit oversold. Right now, we're not oversold yet. So I think once we hit around 38 point, around 80-ish, around there, Joel, we should be in oversold conditions and have a nice bounce back up towards the 10 SMA to have our first retest and first test of an uptrend, of a reversal here, since we are in a downtrend. Okay, so those are your levels that you need to be watching out for. And if we have a uptrend, we should be able to see a retest of 41.50 to 60. Okay, so make sure you're watching out for all these levels here, Joel. But I think airlines are not ready yet. But if you want to play to the downside, plenty of downside room. Okay, you can scalp this name, swing this name, whatever you want to do. There's plenty of downside room. SMAs are all pointing downward. We have a death cross. There's multiple indicators here, and just price alone as well, telling us that this name goes lower. Vivian, hey. Glad to see you again. Chornox. Oops. I spelled the whole name. Okay, so Trox, if people in here aren't in the C.F.O Swinger Watch, Trox is one of my one of my favorite plays for now, because Trox was given a deal. Okay, let me see. There's a actually I'll pull it up on my phone, but Trox did have news that they got an offer for around $4 billion from another chemical company that's looking to buy out Trox. So if you guys don't know what Trox is, it's a company that basically controls all the ingredients and materials needed that a lot of people use in sunblock. Okay, so they control a commodity, a special metal here that they put on sunscreen that reflects sunlight. So Trox is basically or Tronox Holdings is basically a monopoly for this specific material or commodity. So this is something that you guys should be watching out for, because if they are bought out, right, overnight, Trox can have a huge jump to around 28 to 30. So around 28 to 30 is my kind of profit target there. I'm already in. I was up 65% today already on my position, since I did get in at the dip right here at the support bounce around 24.20-ish. And if you guys didn't get in yet, I would say that you're kind of late. But also there's earnings. Okay, there's earnings coming up this week. So in 2 days actually. And I am still holding through earnings because I have that big percentage cushion, right? I'm up 65%. So I'm willing to risk that amount of a percentage. And I go a lot more deeper into this on how I'm able to determine whether or not I want to hold on to a position or not. I'm not going to say it here because that's going to be unfair for all my past students and current students so far. So if you guys want to join the 4 weeks program, please join, because a lot of people have benefited from it. It's something that if you guys feel like as if you need further education on trading, I highly recommend you guys to look at my website and sign up. So now the 4 weeks program starts on November 6th. Okay, so make sure you guys keep that date in mind. I do have a discount code for you guys if you guys are really interested for 10% off, and the price of the original program was a lot higher compared to what it is now. So it's already at a low price, and you're gonna get a 10% discount. It can't get any better than that. All right. Okay. So That's kind of my little promotion there for the Forex program for you all to join or not. Just, I'm never going to pressure you. If you guys feel like you need more education, just join. As simple as that. Okay, so Vivian, Trox, we're making a nice flag. However, if we kind of isolate the flagpole here of this bullish flag, we're looking at a rising wedge. Okay, a nice rising wedge here. So we can break out to the upside if earnings are really good and the earnings reaction turns out to be really good as well. And that can just be the catalyst where we can break out above this bullish flag or in this macro rising wedge here. So I would say that if you're not in yet, it's kind of risky because we have earnings in 2 days and we have this kind of a bearish chart pattern. But overall, on a macro scale, it's a bullish chart pattern. We do have, if you don't know here, we have a weekly level of resistance around 26.20ish, which we actually ended up above, Vivian. So this is a huge base that we've been forming. All right. And if you're able to break out of this, is a big blue sky breakout. Okay, this could really warrant a blue sky breakout here. So make sure you guys are watching out for this. Oh, and just so that you guys know, Tronox did not accept the deal yet. I hope they do because it's a pretty sweet deal, I think. But if they don't, this can come crashing down. So those are one of the risks as well in the upcoming few weeks or months. But for the most recent risk for this name is that the technical chart pattern and the earnings in 2 days. Okay, Vivian? So really not much to see if you're not in already since the support bounce that I got here around 24.20. Okay, Kevin, FedEx. So FedEx, I actually did this on my previous lives about 2 weeks ago, or no, last week. Excuse me, last week on Wednesday. So FedEx, this name I told whoever submitted this on last week. I don't really remember, but FedEx here, I told them that we are forming a nice rising channel here. Okay, and so rising channels are usually bearish, but I did tell them in fact that we saw a lot of buying coming in as we were kind of going back above this oversold levels, right? I mean, you guys should be able to tell if you're able to, or if you have, not if you're able to, if you have studied price action just by looking at this and saying that, okay, this is an oversold name and needs a bounce, right? And so, if you guys, are trying to invest or trade very simply, you guys can literally buy at support levels at oversold price levels as well, and just continue to dollar cost average and hold, and then you're gonna have a monster trade like this, because on bounces like this where it's oversold and at a near significant price level of $216 here, you guys could have made a killing already, right? As we're reversing to the top and bouncing. So, those are one of the simple strategies that you guys can use even on your retirement or long-term accounts, and that's something that I do as well. So, FedEx is one of those names that have been, kind of, it's been hit so hard so far due to bad guidance. But FedEx, I think, has potential, especially if they start to actually start using drones as well. So they start using some robotic technology to really help with the ever increasing demand of packages that they need to deliver around the world, and the amount of workers that they don't have, right? So there's a labor shortage as well. So they're taking longer to really deliver packages. If you guys haven't noticed, since I order stuff online as well. But overall, I think FedEx, it can go higher. We need to kind of pull back though. Okay, so Kevin, this is bullish so far because today we started to fill in the gap. Okay, so I'm not saying we're going to see a huge pullback, but it'll be nice, right? It'll be nice to see kind of retest this ascending support trend line. Now, the reason why support is that we broke out of it because previously it was a resistance, right? And so once we start to see the 10 and 21 SMA really catch up here, especially the 10, we should see more of a bullish movement and possible retest, and most likely a retest of the daily 50 SMA. And the daily 50 SMA can be around 242.50 by that time. So watch out for those specific price levels. Okay, but so far, if you're not in this name yet, I would say you're a bit late. But if you're able to catch any day trades on this name for a nice another pump up or pump down, okay, this name can come down too. Like I said, it needs to have a little bit of a consolidation phase here since we've been going straight up for the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days here. Okay. All right. O'Brien, good to see you here. Netflix. Netflix. I think you asked me about Netflix, didn't you? Maybe. I think you did. Well, if it wasn't you, then that's fine. But I do remember telling that person that Netflix is looking really, really good because of this nice flag that I was making. Okay, or you guys can also look at it this way too. Okay, so whenever there's a huge momentum going on in a name, all right, especially after a huge base breakout like this, a textbook flag-based breakout right here, right above around 500, I would say 565-ish. Okay, there's gonna be continuous amount of momentum as we hit all-time highs, new all-time highs, and new all-time highs again. And as we're breaking out like this, right? A lot of people, and you might be wondering, right? Why won't the stock ever go up straight like this? Why can't it just keep on going up like this, right? First of all, people get scared that the stock might crash after going up so much, right? And so that's the reason why we tend to have little tiny pullbacks, because people are selling, right? And as people see that there's red days on Netflix, they're like, oh God, I have to sell too now. And so they continue to sell until buyers step in and start consolidating. And that's the reason why we have these tiny pullbacks and run up again. Okay, and then pullback and another run up. So this is one of those great examples where we have a small, very tight consolidation phase within a short period of time, and then we have a nice sudden momentum run up. And this is one of the characteristics of a nice big all-time high breakout. So this is something that you guys should be always watching out for, especially when you're hawking a name that has a good cause for it to break out above all-time highs. If the technical chart or any type of catalyst is really about to set this name up to blow out the top. All right. Now I need you to call the top. Yeah, sure. So Netflix is kind of being oversold, overbought here. Okay, and of course I'll bring out the RSI for you guys, and there we go. Bam, we are a bit overbought. All right, but even if we're overbought, like I said previously, it just means that we're not going to have an immediate pullback. Okay, if you look at it from a different perspective, when we're overbought, there's a lot of buyers. Okay, that just means that there's so many buyers that the price just keeps on getting bid up and up and up. So if you guys are bamboozled by any indicators and you're getting mixed signals, just stop using the signals, right? These indicators, okay, not signals, these indicators here, all right? So indicators can be helpful, but they can be tricky in the fact that they can give you conflicting information, like what I just told you guys, right? It can be overbought, but it also doesn't mean that it's exactly overbought, because it just means that there's a lot of buyers, right? So that's conflicting information. So Netflix. I would say Netflix long term. I have a high price target of $700. So O'Brien, that just might be your top. But if you have a nice pullback tomorrow, which is completely fine, exactly, volume keeps dropping as well. So we can most likely see a drop tomorrow, finally a fourth red day here. All right. I would say, O'Brien, though, I think the momentum is still here, though, from what I'm saying. It's just the volume, all right? We need more volume to sustain this movement upwards. So I would say a nice pullback tomorrow will be ideal. Okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have another green day, but a very, very small candlestick green day, right? So maybe like this, maybe like an inside candlestick like this, right? A very small candlestick, right? I'm sorry for the ugly drawings. I'm using my mouse. But if we don't have a red day, then the least I would expect from Netflix tomorrow is going to be a very small green day, unless the the overall markets and everything just keeps on continuing to push up. Okay, those are only kind of, I guess, factors that can really help Netflix push higher and higher and higher without bigger volume. Okay, but so far I say Netflix. If you aren't in yet, you're pretty late here. If you're trying to get in right now, and if you want to trade, day trade, just look at the 15-minute time frames. It seems like we're in a very, very nice uptrend. You can most likely have a short trade to the downside once this 15-minute 50 SMA here decides to catch up, because whenever the 50 SMA on the 15-minute time frame catches up, and this is kind of what I teach on the Forex program as well, but I won't go in too deeply. Just a little hint here, hint. But with the 50 SMA here, once this starts to catch up and the price kind of starts losing volume and seeing more selling volume and giving more leeway to sellers, we can see a big dip to the 50 SMA and eventually break down below the 50 SMA. Okay, so that's the only thing I'm going to give you guys for this specific strategy that I use when I day trade, and I don't day trade as often, because my strategy involves only swing trading. Okay, so that's kind of it for Netflix. Brian, I would say the top for me would be 700. But I would say, yeah, maybe in the next 2 to 3 months, Netflix can potentially go to 700. But for now, currently, we're gonna need a pullback. Okay, so we do need a pullback. I won't lie about that. Okay, X. Good one. So all the steel names today, complete beasts, like with every other name today on the market. So STLD, CLF, right? Cleveland Cliffs. Cleveland Cliffs is making huge returns here. I mean, this is a name that I've been really touting as well for you guys to get in to leaps, right? Option contracts or even shares. So this is a name that's really good fundamentally and technically so far. But if you're not in yet, you're late. All right, so that's all I can say. Now let's go back to X. So X is also breaking out big. First point that I see, first very good bullish point, is that we broke above $23 here, and we used the 200 SMA as support today, and we closed above the 50 SMA, right? So we have 3 coinciding bullish technical points here. I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if we continue to head up higher, especially as we're running into earnings, right? So since STLD recently had good earnings and CLF had good earnings as well, I would not be surprised if X also has good earnings. And I would also not be surprised if X continues to run up into earnings, which is what? On Thursday. Okay, so I think X here is very good for another run tomorrow. All commodity names, especially steel names. We can most likely see an open, maybe a gap up open, and then a retest of 24.60 to 0.50ish as support, and then a huge volume of buyers going into the name until maybe you might even hit 60 as resistance tomorrow. 26 tomorrow, not 60. $26 tomorrow as resistance. Okay, so it might just follow something like this, right? Okay, so CLF, like this. Okay, but I'll say X still has little hallmarks of a bearish trend here because of the fact that it's kind of too close to 200 SMA. But I like the fact that we consolidated and kind of, the price basically was able to prevail and not sell downwards, and even more, and actually use 20.50 as the as the current support here, which is also in the past levels of support for multiple times. So I'm glad that steel names are doing very, very good because I'm very, very bullish on steel names. I believe NUE, yeah, so NUE also had great earnings as well. They're breaking out today. So overall, I think NUE, X, CLF, STLD, they're all going to continue tomorrow. Okay. So NUE and X, I'll say they're the names that you should be watching out for, Brian, for any still names, since they have the highest probability of actually continuing up higher, since X especially here has increasing volume as it broke out, and NUE also has increasing volume even after earnings. Long hold, SMH, semiconductor ETF, O'Brien, okay, and then of course SPY, QQQ, IWM is looking like a good candidate since we've been having a huge flag forming here, bullish flag over a course of the whole year practically. So I wouldn't be surprised if small caps decide to run up into next year, which is also the reason why, since Brian, I don't know if you were in the C.F.O Discord today, but I also opened up a laser position, LAZR. Good. I'm pretty sure you saw a lot of gains on that today, but obviously it's 2023 expiration for X, so they're not going to move too much since the delta is pretty low on those contracts, and Gamma. So especially Vega as well. You should be looking at Vega Greek. But overall, you still should have seen some gains on X. So congratulations on that, man. I know you're talking about getting 2023 contracts for X. I'm glad that you did. I'm glad. Just make sure you're managing well because, obviously the market can't always give you an ideal situation of continuously going up into 2023. But if you're able to hold through all the ups and downs for the next 2 years, I would highly congratulate you on that. But yeah, overall, IWM, it will be my next ETF candidate there. Well, specifically the ETFs or the ETF candidates that I like for long holds. But Laser is the reason why Laser is one of those small cap names that I chose to get in because I like the prospects of Laser, and IWM is looking to have a nice big breakout above a range of 231.50 to around 233. Okay. All right, it seems like the chatter is dying down here. If anyone have any more questions, I am going to be looking to end this live soon, since we are almost crossing that 40-minute mark here. So if you guys don't know about the updated times, I am. Okay, all right, we cut off for a second there, but I did change the time from 7:30 p.m., which is 10:30 on Eastern Standard Times. But it seems like people tend to join in a little later, which is completely fine. But those are my times, and I only do my lives Mondays and Wednesdays from now on as well, because on Fridays people kind of want to rest their eyes and not look at the markets. So that's completely fine. I do that too. So Mondays and Wednesdays, 7:30 PST, 10:30 EST. All right, guys? Also, for the 4 weeks program, if you guys are interested, please DM me, okay? I have a discount code ready for you. I've never, ever given out a discount code before for the 4 weeks program. So if you guys want to take this opportunity, take it, okay? Because I think this is the only time I'm going to be looking at for providing a discount code for any of my premium CFO programs. So also for any women in here, female traders, I am looking to make a nice killing female trading CFO group, and I want you guys to go in the 4 weeks program first. So if any females are interested, please DM me. I'll be providing the details and also giving you guys a specific discount code for the Forex program as well. That's coming up on November 6th. Okay. Okay, so November 6th is the date. So save that date. And let's look at the last name here. Right by Brian. So this is my last name, Beyond. 2023. Okay, so whoa, I don't know what happened with Beyond here. Oh, okay. Yeah, so what I've been seeing a lot since the 2020 market crash, companies have been reporting guidance and especially revenue guidance earlier than usual for earnings, right? Because I don't think I remember Beyond having earnings yet, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check here because Beyond shouldn't have had earnings yet. Yeah, so Beyond didn't have earnings yet. They have earnings on November 9th, or 10th or 9th. And what these companies are doing is that they're reporting negative news first that they don't want to put on the earnings day. It's kind of a very shrewd idea. I think it's pretty smart to kind of really not put too much pressure on the earnings day and not to see their share price fall too rapidly as earnings are being announced. So it kind of lifts the pressure off of their shoulders to kind of announce negative news first, and that's been a pretty consistent pattern among companies lately to really let themselves kind of lift off the pressure and kind of soften the cushion for earnings. So I wouldn't be surprised, Ryan, if they have bad earnings and then have a nice positive reaction. Okay, because they've already announced that they're gonna have bad revenue guidance going to quarter 3 and quarter 4. So Beyond Meat is something that you should be watching out for as well for the long term, especially since fake meat is going to be a huge industry, and it's already a huge industry. But I think it's going to continue to grow as people become more eco-conscious and they're going to be more conscious of what they eat, right? I mean, I personally have eaten Beyond and Impossible Burgers and meats, and to be honest, at some points they do taste better than regular meat. I'm not even trying to promote for them, but personally I think they're really really good, and I think it's going to convert a lot of meat eaters to these fake meats. So I think 2023, at least for 2023, I would say Beyond has to come down a little bit more, maybe in the $80 mark for me to consider leaps. But, okay, depending on their earnings on November 9th or 10th, whatever it is, I would say wait. But if you can and if you want, you can actually start buying already below $100 because I think Beyond is still worth it below $100. But I would preferably, for me, I would like it around $80, which is also the next area of support. Perfectly aligns with that. Look at that. Okay, so for Beyond, we have a nice level of resistance around the golden number of $100. Okay, now because previously it was a level of support, but obviously we failed since we had that huge movement to the downside for Beyond. And all we need to be looking out for, O'Brien, is this gap to be filled. Maybe we might have a run up into earnings as well, and we can see a potential gap fill, or we head lower. All right, but seems like we found support around 91.50-ish. Okay, that's the low of the day here. Yeah, so the low of the candlestick was 91.55 for this specific candlestick. So I got it nearly on point there. So support was formed around 91.50, meaning this can be our potential current support for now. But if obviously if we break it, it's not going to be support anymore. But watch out for this gap fill here. We can have potential to fill this gap in, especially if we start to run up into earnings. Okay, That is it for today. I hope that was informational as usual. I hope to see a lot more people on Wednesday. All right. So same time as usual, 7:30 or 10:30, depending on what time zone you're in. And Wednesday will be my final day for the week to do this live, since Friday I will not be live. Okay. All right. Thank you all for joining. Like I said, these lives will never be possible without you guys. So keep on coming up and showing up for these lives. And I really, really, truly appreciate you guys for joining every single night to look at this live stream as I'm doing these technical analysis for you all. And I really, really hope that these lives have been helping as well with your own trading. Okay. Of course, man, of course. Hopefully I'll see you in the Discord tomorrow. Ryan. All right, have a great rest of your night, guys. I'll see you guys all on Wednesday.